Episode 11. Since last time, I have set up nuclear energy, which is good because I was really running out of power at this point in time. The factory is starting to kind of get out of control, but this should be covering it for a very long time past this point. Yeah, look at it go.
Oh, yeah. You know, I recognize that curve. Like, what happens is you run out of, you're like 20% below your power. Your power production is just a little bit below your consumption. Sometimes it shuts down the factory. So you're like, I never want this to happen again. So you build like 100 nuclear factories. You're like,
well,
I'm gonna
8. You can even see them way in the distance over there. Since I'm actually using a drone to go get it out, it's a pretty effective way to do it, and it does mean that I can get like the waste back pretty easily too.
Okay.
Might also notice I'm using a lot of alternate recipes so that I don't actually need to get sulfuric acid. I'm just using regular sulfur for both this and the actual encased uranium cells themselves. So don't even have to worry about working with fluids right now, which is actually pretty useful.
Yeah, fluids, that creates a lot of overhead. Like, you have to...
Well, that doesn't stop me from working with a lot of fluids, trust me, because, I mean, we're going to be going right back to the oil side of stuff now, which has also gotten a bit of a makeover, and yeah.
There's actually a single word we can refer to. It's called oiled. You oiled your factory. Your fab, as you're calling it now.
Yes, my fab. That's what it's called, because it fabricates things.
Yeah, I have some issues with that, but whatever.
Okay, no.
That.
Air out your issues. We got a little bit before I get to the other side of the factory. It's literally the other side of the factory.
Well, we already aired it out, and you won the argument, but I
know, that's why I want you to do it again.
I can win the war. So Fabricator.
Fine. You want to go second round? We'll see who wins this one.
All right. Yeah, there's kind of a mixed metaphor here with the boxing, but let's try this. Okay.
The floor is yours.
The second battle. Yeah, I can
like Nos would say, the floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Okay, I agree that fabrication takes place. I agree that it is a fabricator.
Listen to
what
this
I disagree
dumbass.
with is that calling it a fab and just, oh, this is my fabricator. This gigantic grid is.
I'm just calling it a fab. I'm not calling it a fabricator.
Yeah, but fab is short for fabricator.
That's right.
Isn't it?
It is.
Or is it
in this case?
Short for... But so you are calling it a fabricator. You're just not. You're calling it it's your fab.
It's my fab.
So just to be clear, you're calling it your fab, and
you started out trying to call it the fact.
That's true. I did say that
like
even before.
Listen to the disdain in my voice and the plosives that also come out of it. Fact. Yeah. Just say fab. Jesus.
I was just trying to make light banter, and you came back with fab. And
By the way, I hope that was incredibly sonically unpleasant to make my point across.
Yeah. Well, you can always make that more unpleasant in post. Fun editing tip.
Well, anyway, back to so now that we're over here in Oil Town. They can tell by what you carry that you come from Oil Town. I am pretty much turning, speaking of oiled, I'm pretty much turning 1 barrel of oil into 1,000 barrels of oil by doing this. And then using that to create what one could call an ungodly amount of rubber over here.
The fab that makes oil rubber.
Anyway, so... Look, I'm going to need more rubber in the future, and that's kind of an important thing. So, aside from that, though, one of the things that I am starting to run into is lack of bauxite. So what we're going to be doing today is we are going to finally be setting up some of the drones. The drone system is basically how I'm planning to do, most everything in the factory eventually. Just, like, setting that up. Aside from things that are very close here that I can still get, using trucks or, like, a monorail system. This one actually going and getting water over here specifically for that whole the whole fuel production thing.
By the way, I saw that you have some drones. Are you how established is that system? You
I have one drone, and that's just for the nuclear energy.
Okay.
I mean, that was I want to do like the full drone thing. I want to be droning on for this episode. This is the drone episode, not the sexy kind.
It's drone day today.
It is. It's actually Friday. Is Friday drone day?
Ain't got no drones. Ain't got shit to move.
Well, anyway, so the basic of how this is going to work, at least in my mind. Actually, now that I have the hover pack here, I can actually use it. We're going to set up, like, what's the best way to do this? I'm trying to figure it out.
I don't know. You're the factory builder.
Say it.
The fab builder.
Okay. Yeah, it's like, so I'm thinking that what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically treat these as, like, as if they were production things, you know, give it like the same, two, you know, like two squares here and then one square for like the many conveyor belts and everything to go down. And then kind of just feed it in the same way here. What it'll do is it'll just go along. Is there a way? Maybe what I can do is I can actually line this up a little bit better so that it actually goes with the... I mean, this is decently aligned with these, like, conveyor belts and everything. So,
so that's a drone port, is that right?
Yes, this is this is one drone port. We need two, and then a drone to actually work. Of which I'm only going to build 3 right now because they're very expensive.
Okay.
So, we got that sort of thing going here.
By the way, expensive how? Is it like, are there specific resources that bottleneck?
Oh, it would require something along the lines of like 1,000 Alclad sheets to create 10 of them.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I feel like that's not a lot given how many Alclad sheets you have.
Oh no, I have tens of thousands, but it is hard to carry that all in my inventory at one point in time.
Oh, okay, so just kind of a pain. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then what we're going to do is we are going to go over and have me press the Windows key, accidentally getting me out of the game. No, but then we're going to go over to the actual bauxite area and then go and set these things up proper. And I realize right now that I don't actually have any batteries in there. Maybe I should go do that real quick. Like, at least get... so that I can at least do, like, a testing of the lines to kind of set this thing up.
Yeah, get your infrastructure ready.
Shouldn't really be a problem. As of right now, I don't actually have the, what is this thing called here? Production set up on turbo motors right now, but that should be coming pretty quickly. I've just been using tickets to buy a couple of them for the time being. Hence, I'm going to do the same thing with the batteries, even though I'm producing so many of them that it really is kind of a waste of my cool fun bucks to buy this, but whatever. Let's save ourselves some time when it comes to, you know, walking back and forth.
Well, I think the tickets are really useful for, like, these kinds of prototyping events where you don't want to make the whole thing. Like, especially with, like, oh, I've got to build a whole nuclear factory. It's like, well, if you just need, like, a little bit to get you started, then you don't really want to do that.
And I didn't really buy anything when doing the nuclear factory part. It's just, like I said, this is more for the sake of, like, the episode itself.
Yeah, maybe a better example would be like, oh, you buy Alclad aluminum sheets to get you to the objective or whatever. Like, that's a pretty common one. It's not that it's, oh,
you got to pay a couple bucks, you know, with the microtransactions to be able to, you know, get your Oshi.
I don't know what Oshi is. I'm sorry.
It's an idle term. It like literally means favorite.
Oh, okay.
It's basically the idol that you like the most.
Okay.
Like among like an entire group of, you know, potentially hundreds of people, you like this person over everybody else.
Oh, I see. So like an idle game as opposed to an idle game, like a gacha game.
Or like gacha games also have characters that, you know, people have their favorites for, and some of them are like, you know, the triple extra ultra S tier rare, that sort of thing.
So like Danganronpa might have an Oshi. That would be your favorite character.
Who's your Oshi from Danganronpa?
Is that like? Does that have like a
no?
Romantic?
Say it. And also call it a fab again.
Okay, well I would say, like, I don't know, Chiaki.
Really?
It's up there. I didn't expect you to know
anything
seriously?
About these characters. The most boring of the characters.
I'm sorry, I'm a boring person.
Damn, I'll say.
Wow, I didn't know where this came from. I didn't even.
You started talking about Oshis.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you expected when you began that line of conversation. That's the only place
I
to
don't
go.
know. Well, yeah.
Did you want me to? What did you want me to stand up and give you a round of applause?
I was kind of hoping for that. I guess it wouldn't have made much sense, but
If you're not going to say that my factory is an impressive setup and keep demeaning me in that way, then I'm going to demean your Oshi.
yeah. I just like this is turned into.
This is the trade-off that you make when you cross me.
Yeah, don't ever cross talk. Just people in the audience. Just
No, don't do it. I'll be very, very whiny.
He's incredibly
Pissy
vindictive.
even.
Yeah.
Petulant,
but yeah, so we're
if you will.
yeah.
If there's one thing that would describe Mr. Inferno Fireman, it's petulant.
Does Oshi? Does it have to be like like someone? Like, can it just be your favorite character?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. It's just like I said. It's idol terminology, so usually
Okay.
referring to idol groups.
Well, I would think about
Who's
that.
your
but I
favorite
guess,
idol?
I guess Nagato Komeida would be the single best character in the series. So
Isn't Nagato the main character from the first one?
no, the second one.
Second one. Okay.
You're thinking
Also a
of Makoto.
boring character.
Yeah. What can I say? Well, Makoto is boring. Nagito is not. So.
Hey, speaking of Makoto, who's your favorite character in Persona 5? Who's your Oshi there?
I would
By
say
the way, the
Mishima.
audience is either loving or absolutely despising this conversation. I don't know which one.
Yeah. I would say Mishima just because of how pathetic he is, but he's not even really good. I don't
That's a
know.
good choice.
I always find that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
How about you?
I would probably
Persona
say
5.
the same thing. He's probably my favorite character. Like, is there anybody else? I guess, like, maybe Goro.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it feels like cheap because he's like the he's the epic character. Like he's
At the same time, you got to remember they explicitly changed a lot of his storyline because he got so popular.
yeah.
So it's
I
like,
mean,
can we
as
really
we've
say that
discussed.
they intended it to be like like, oh yeah, well of course you're gonna choose them. They made him like that. It's like, no, they didn't even want you to like him. And then of
That's
course
funny.
at the point in time when people did like him, they just flipped like a pancake on that.
Well, in fairness, I feel like they were doing such.
I refuse to be fair to Persona 5.
I mean, yeah, but it didn't make a lot of sense the way that they flipped him because it's like they clearly didn't go back and retroactively make him more like
their backspace key was broken. We established this in the series.
we don't want to make this a Persona 5 cast, do we?
Doesn't everything we do turn into a Persona 5 cast?
That's straight.
We were just talking about the cast of Persona 5 and which one was our favorite.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess, and we don't want to make the whole episode like Danganronpa, but like that would be equally bad.
Oh yeah, that's right. It goes way too high if you shove in too much on a pure node.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
Oh, you mean like too high even for like for the conveyor belts to push that out?
Yeah, max is 780.
Okay.
Now here's the thing. It's just like, it's not that this could actually haul in 780. It's going about 460 maximum right now. So, take that how you will.
240 times what 250%, so that's going to be like 600. So it's not actually going to get to 780.
Yeah, it's like, look, the thing is, though, even if I were to crank it up to maximum, I can't get the materials out of there fast enough to actually be usable.
Okay. By the way, do you have the I just forget the name. The things that make them go faster, like the overclock things, the bugs.
Oh yeah, that's what I was doing. That's how I was getting.
I saw that you were doing
1200.
that. I mean, well, I was going to ask, like, do you do that on all the nodes that you mine? Like,
Yeah, that's like the one thing that you can't just build more stuff to actually increase the effectiveness of.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is why I feel like I'm going to end up saving most of the powered slugs for this.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
All right. Roughly about 3 by 3 to get the drones working. Let's throw this thing down and see what we're looking at. How fast does this actually get to the other port? You want to place your bets?
I'm going to guess that the speed at this time is probably not very fast. So it maybe, and I don't know how far away it is on the map, but I don't know, maybe 3 minutes.
3? Yeah, actually, probably. It takes a very long time for these things to land and take off, but aside from that, they go pretty fast.
One of the strengths of this game, I would say, is that the timing is pretty realistic. Like, things take, if you want to go across the map, if you want to if you want to bring a conveyor belt across the map, it's going to take you 10-20 minutes to get the material, to start getting the materials. It feels pretty realistic. Okay, something has to go 10 miles. That's going to take 10 minutes, you know?
Okay, it's not going to take that long. It's going to take like 2 minutes to get there, but the docking process is pretty expensive.
Well, I mean, as you get better materials, yeah. And I think
you don't upgrade these things by getting better materials. What are you talking about?
Or you upgrade. How do you upgrade the drones, by the way? Are they just like different makes of them?
You don't. The one you got is the one you got.
Okay, well, you better love the one you're with then.
That's right. What? Oh, actually, just give me a round trip even before I start off. It's about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. All right, so what's like the max stacks? What's like the fat stacks that I'm going to be hauling with this thing? I mean, I have 3 bauxite things right here. Right? Obviously, this maxes out at about 480. What I can do is I can split stuff using what we like to refer to as a splitter. And then kind of go from there. By the way, if you don't know how the hover pack works, you can do this. Which is pretty fun.
Yeah. Is that like an exploit, would you say?
No, it's intended so that you can interact with things from a pretty big distance away, but that also makes goofy things like that happen.
Okay, yeah.
Because, like, yeah, normally you'd have to be right next to a port to actually take a look inside it. Not so much here.
Mining bauxite.
By the way, how long?
The process that makes aluminum. Mining bauxite.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to see what it's got for the actual delivery now that it's about to... I mean, okay, well, first off, it's already just about, like, maxing out on the amount of bauxite that is in here. So clearly we're going to need more than one. I expected that, which is why I have several ready to be built.
Okay, yeah.
And that's kind of how it's going to be. This is why I need to get battery production up to what we like to refer to as stupid amounts.
How much battery life does it take to move like a drone from hither to there?
It'll actually tell me. I can check that right now. It takes eight batteries per trip.
8 batteries per trip. Okay.
Or more specifically, almost 3 per minute.
Okay.
Almost like if you want to, and it's just like, yeah, I'm going to be trying to do like every node on the map. So if you want to start doing that math, there's your. Can
you use the bauxite to create the battery? Or
I guess technically the alumina solution is part of like bauxite creation, but no. I'm using alclad sheet, so that requires a bit of refinement process, as well as all the other stuff. Like I'm going to show you the battery. This is right over here.
Okay.
Got like this one, which I'm not using because now I don't have to work with this garbage.
Yeah.
I'm using this one, classic battery. Alclad sheets, plastic, which, I mean, you saw the oil production right now. I don't think that's going to be too big of a deal. Yeah. And salt, of which I have plenty. Primarily used for black powder. That's a lie. Hey, what are you doing here? Yeah, outgoing transfer rate is 43 items. I'm going to let it go one more time. Here, you know what? Flip the stand, bye.
How do you coordinate these
Oh,
these
shit.
drones.
That's a fuel rod. That's a uranium fuel rod. I set it to the wrong port.
Oh, I see. So it's basically every drone port has one item in and one item out at most.
Yeah, it's actually pretty useful for doing stuff like the whole, nuclear waste thing.
Yeah, I can
A
imagine.
single drone port, for example, will be able to fuel a single drone port, for example, will be able to fuel we'll need to kind of fix this, though. We'll be able to fuel a, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Nuclear power plant, just by itself.
Maybe you get a drone port that just, like, removes excess fuel rods while this is getting fixed.
Oh, boy. Now, here's a problem. You know what? I'm just going to, this is enough of a problem that I'm going to try and fix it right now because I don't want I don't want bauxite to be going into my nuclear power things.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think already happened.
That could start a cascading reaction that would
No, it can
destroy.
gum up the works. I don't like that.
Oh, yeah, I understand. Yeah, that's
All
one of the
right, well,
most
let me go grab the nuclear
in-
power rod and hope it doesn't kill me here. But
in
otherwise,
any
this is
of these
basically what we're
factory
doing.
Games, yep. In any of these factory games, one of the most annoying things is
What?
something. What?
What?
When you get something on a conveyor belt that's not supposed to be there.
In
and it screws
what?
up your whole... In these kinds of factory games.
In these what?
Oh, I see. Okay, in these kinds of fab games.
Okay.
These fabricator games.
I mean, I like
These
just calling them
games-
fabs, but sure.
Honestly, Infinifactory makes a lot more sense.
Invent what?
Infinifactory, the game. is that kind of
Infinite
game.
what?
I'm saying it makes more sense as a fabricator.
No.
than this game.
You're going to say it right.
Oh, Infinifabricator?
Yeah, okay.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah,
That seems-
it's one of those Actronic games.
Yeah. Now you recognize it. Now you recognize the game that I'm referring
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you were saying before.
Wow. This is so petty. So, is petulant short for
Welcome
petty?
to my channel.
Wait, is petulant short for petty?
Actually, you know what? Let's just go back here. Wait, what?
That word, like, petulant, is it short for petty?
I mean, I would assume they come from the same sort of etymology.
Yeah. In the same way, like, that... Well, wait, no, you know what? I actually know this one. Petty comes from, like, petite. Like, from French for small. But I wonder if petulant is also, like, small.
Oh, so like a jury rigging, that word, for example.
Yeah, I mean, and,
It's like, I mean, I've been doing this fab
let's see.
for pretty much everything until this very point.
What's the etymology of petulant?
I don't know. What
I'm
is
typing
it?
as quietly as I can. Yeah, it just means, let's see, immodest. Looks like
I mean,
it's-
that's true. I'm a very immodest person. I mean, as always, I am naked as I'm recording this.
Immodest, wanton, saucy. So there you
Ooh,
go.
yeah, I love the word saucy.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite words.
A side of petulance. You're a
Okay,
veritable
anyway.
petulance fabricator.
Like, are we like going anywhere else with this bit?
I don't know. I'm just no.
No, nowhere else at all.
No.
That's
Not
it.
even. Yeah, we're done with this bit. I think. I don't think we're. So
Done
what are you
with the bit
doing now?
and done with this episode.
No, I think the episode still has a lot of legs.
You do?
Yeah, the drone thing.
This actually
I
took
don't
less
know.
time than I thought it was going to. We should just go do a
Oh.
second half.
Okay.
All right, let's do that. Well, that whole thing with the drones didn't take too long, so we're coming back here to get right into particle enrichment. I've worked a little bit more on the factory, gotten a few more lines of production up, and in general just made things a lot more efficient. However, still got a little bit more to do before I can start expanding out and truly using all of the supply nodes that I possibly can. Even right now, the only thing that I ended up using, not even that bauxite stuff that I set up, but these ones to get a few more quartz over here. And that's it for now.
What exactly does particle acceleration or particle what does this entail for your production?
Honestly, not a whole lot. I mean, yeah, it does let me get the nuclear pasta, which is, of course, the fourth part
Yeah.
that I need for completing Phase 4, and it allows me to refine nuclear waste into plutonium fuel rods, which I'm actually just going to destroy so that I don't have even worse waste to deal with after this point. Still, though, it is an important part of getting a very self-sufficient, not wasteful factory, especially when where I have to keep continuously making new places to store uranium waste. So it's worth getting.
When the uranium waste becomes plutonium waste, is it like is that a generative process that gives you anything, or is it necessary? It's necessary for the nuclear pasta.
Well, no. The only thing that's necessary for nuclear pasta is the super cubes that go even beyond regular cubes. If I can find that.
Hypercubes, if you will.
Not really. I mean, it's not the fused modular frame. What is this? What is that called? I don't even remember. Compression something? Pressure conversion cube. Here we go.
Okay.
Actually, I can start making a lot of these even right now. It's just, I need these, and then I need copper powder. I need a lot of copper powder. 300 per minute to create 50 per minute. And then a nuclear pasta requires 100 per minute to produce half of one per minute.
Which one ends up being the bottleneck, the copper powder or the pressure conversion?
Oh,
tube?
you need so much copper powder. Just an incredibly huge amount of copper is going to be going into creating nuclear pasta just by itself. Even right now, I have a whole bunch of these cubes and a bunch of the radio control units. It's just... No, as it turns out, just getting more copper than you could possibly believe is going to be the real issue.
Okay. So, are you just going to build a massive copper line?
Well, this is probably the point in time to do that, and unfortunately, there's actually something even more obnoxious than just purely getting, say, copper ore. It's that to actually do copper ore efficiently, taking a look at the copper ingots here, I'm going to have to use water. Turns 15 ore into 37, 15 per minute into 37 per minute copper ingots, but also requires water.
And for that you need a pump, right? Or are you going to use
I actually already have some stuff set up for that. That's the other thing that I was planning to eventually do with a lot of the drones that I end up creating. It's that water is a very readily available resource, like most sort of liquids. It's just hauling it around is annoying, right?
Oh, I thought you were going to say not a drop to drink.
You don't want to drink this. This is going to be used for particle acceleration nonsense.
Heavy metal processing. This is the water that they use to shield nuclear radiation. Okay, fair enough.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can still see, like right over there. There's all the nuclear reactors blowing up steam right now.
Oh.
But it's like, okay. No, those are not the ones that we're going to be looking at. Yeah, it's kind of funny, but at this point in time, the actual production processes are getting weird. Like, for right now, don't even use iron. I mean, I'm making iron right now, and I am using it for some stuff, but I really shouldn't because, one, iron rods, I actually don't need them for anything. Iron rods are totally obsoleted. These things are entirely useless in my factory. They are used in no recipes.
That's crazy, dude.
Same thing with cables.
Absolutely crazy.
I need no cables for anything.
Wow.
However, actually, I do still need iron plates. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and switch the recipe into using steel instead. So every single bit of iron that I get is going to be turned to steel.
Wow. So do you still use iron plates and you still use like copper wire, right? Like
yes. Copper wire is actually used for a couple different things. It's used for batteries right now. It's also used for the automated wiring. If I actually look at that. Yeah, the funny thing is that automated wiring does not actually use wire. It uses actual wires rather than cables.
Oh, okay.
That was kind of like the last thing that was actually using these, and quite a few at that point in time. But this is more efficient and just better in every way.
Oh, do you need? Oh, yeah, that's right. You need automated wiring as like an intermediate part.
Yeah, that's going to eventually turn into the
phases.
first thing on there. I need 4,000 of those director assembly units, and I'm going to be creating them anyway just to be able to, do stuff. And then,
Yeah, but
other really wacky stuff with the production. So, oil is, well, it's something right now. So I still have this creating plastic, but if I go over here, you'll see that I have turned this entirely into creating heavy oil residue instead.
Mm-hmm.
But don't I still need rubber? Well, the heavy oil residue goes right in here to get combined with water, even more water, of course, into fuel. And then it goes over here for this recipe where it gets combined with plastic to turn to rubber. And I just have two lines here that are constantly feeding the rubber and plastic created into two things that are then turning them into rubber and plastic.
Uh-huh. So this would be like a gag. This is like a Looney Tunes gag if you just like put it all. I don't know, maybe a Simpsons gag.
I mean, the thing is, it turns it into twice as much rubber and plastic, so I just take half of the production, put that back into the production, and then the other half goes into the actual factory.
Of course, it's simple. It's a perpetual motion machine.
And oil only turns into fuel.
In this factory, we obey the laws of thermodynamics.
Because 5 oil can turn into 10 fuel when you're using this diluted fuel recipe.
Oh, sorry, I mean fab. Sorry, in this fab, we obey the laws of thermodynamics.
We don't. We absolutely do not. This is absurd. I could just get to a point where I'm just producing absolutely no rubber or plastic, but only fuel, and actually be producing more than if I was actually making plastic or rubber.
Oh, so it's a producer's joke. There we go.
It's stupid. It's just
Under
all
the right
into fuel, baby. 100% fuel. Like, I don't need anything else because, like, fuel's the only thing that fuels this process, and that diluted fuel recipe gives me it turns one cubic meter of heavy oil into 2 cubic meters of fuel. It's ridiculously efficient.
You're using the fuel to fuel this whole process, right? Like,
bingo bango, you got it. And and now it's like a lot of my mining efforts are going to be turning to copper just because I need so much of it. Satisfactory gets weird in the end game.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like a bit that I would have come up with, like that, just describing something in the stupidest way possible.
This ludicrous Ouroboros that I have created. So many recipes, so many alternate recipes has just turned it into a stupid cartoon like Looney Tunes gag factory.
Yeah, it's just like I'm just like unpacking everything you said with the plastic, rubber, and fuel, and it's like, well, then what's fueling the whole thing? Well, that's where the fuel comes in.
No, it's nuclear energy powered. The fuel is just used to turn plastic into rubber, and then rubber into plastic, and then I just siphon off all the extra that is made because fuel plus rubber equals more plastic than you put in. Yeah, anyway, this is the other thing that we're looking at right now that I was actually coming over here to show. I'm going to be creating a lot of water harvesting, and those are all, and then as you can see, these things over here are all the drone ports that are going to be bringing it back to the actual base.
So what you're saying is this is a perpetual source of new matter and new energy. Oh, no, heavens no, this place is going to be a desert in 10 years.
It's already a desert. I literally call this place the wasteland on each one of the radio towers, by the way, which I all have set up now. Here, you want to? I mean, some of them are able to get fuel just based on where they are right now, but that's what it looks like.
Wow, yeah. There's the Voronoi diagram.
It's beautiful. Although on the edges, you can see it's like I can't put a tower out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, I understand.
So it gets a little bit crowded around the edges.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're looking like the middle. It's beautiful, beautifully set up.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty nice. Like, not a lot of...
So beautiful you went through puberty.
Yeah.
Okay, enough of that. All right. So, yeah, then over here's all the nuclear power. It's just like, I promised you a look at that, and there it is. I mean, the reality is that I will eventually get to a point where it is entirely self-sufficient, because all I need to do is just make sure that I am getting that that nuclear waste turned into plutonium rods, and then I crushed the plutonium rods. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, but by the way, I'm curious. Is there terraforming in this game where you like obviously you've made a factory out in the desert, but like can you change the forest to be more like a desert or a desert to be more like a forest?
No, unfortunately. Okay. It's like, look, I would love to have that sort of thing, but at the same time, it's like terraforming would be the one thing that I really like to see, because then I wouldn't have to have all my factories be floating up in the air. All right, so normally plutonium fuel unit actually kind of requires a lot of stuff. Pressure conversion cube though is not too bad, and overall it's more efficient. Fertile uranium also a good way to use a lot more uranium.
Look at that water output. Wonder if you could use that, or is that not?
Water. The thing with water output is that if the thing that's using the water output isn't efficient in how it's using it, what I would probably do is I'd probably just end up putting it into sulfuric acid and then feeding that right back in here.
Okay, yeah.
This one actually though, it's like I'm already creating a ton of fuel, and I'm gonna end up creating nitric acid purely for the sake of.
I kind of like that last one. It's got the heavy modular frame. Heavy modular frame, as much as that is a little bit of a pain to create, it's not bad at all.
I mean, I already need to use heavy modular frame for it. It's just instead of, this is an interesting recipe.
I think that's a really good one because that's like, is that skipping any steps with the?
I don't need to get to the aluminum casings for that. However, I do need to render nitrogen gas into nitric acid and also get fuel over there too.
Yeah, maybe the fuel is.
I'm making so much fuel right now. That's not a problem. I'm not even using all the fuel that I'm making right now. Well, look, I have a few more hard drives, so let's just get that for right now and then scan up more.
Okay. Oh, so you can actually you don't have to make the choice. You can just kind of have that. In your back pocket.
By the time that I use the other 3 hard drives that I had there, I'll probably have everything.
Okay.
By the way, prior to actually opening up the nuclear thing, I had already gotten all the other alternate recipes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like in general, like in the game?
Period.
Wow. Because you've gotten all the hard drives.
I've gotten all the hard drives that are possible. There are still a few like ones that require the superposition oscillators and ones that require quantum computers that I'm unable to get because I can't create those.
Yeah, but that's one of those like it's meant to be bottlenecked by that because you literally can't get it until you've gotten. I believe. Yeah,
eventually I'm gonna get to the point where hard drive just give me nothing. They just say try again later. And that's But I mean, I'd still like to go get them. Like as soon as we get access to alien technology. Speaking of which, that is probably something that I want to prioritize for actually getting some of the supply routes up. Have them marked off on the map here and there as like question marks. Here are where I found strange alien metal nodes. So, like for example, this wacky tower here has an impure one on top of it. There's like one deep underground over here. Way at the edge of the world over here.
Wait, so these are hard drives or nodes?
No, those are nodes for the SAM ore, strange alien metal.
Yeah, I've found the one that's in like the bottom of that ravine.
There's a few of them around. A lot like uranium, there's no actual pure nodes. The best you get are normal.
Well, yeah. I mean, are those used for the quantum computers, or are they used for anything?
Presumably they're going to be, but as of right now, it has a big. This is not used for anything.
Work in progress. Yeah.
Yeah, like the alien artifacts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I am a little bad because I want to use them. I can easily start to get the supply routes in here to bring the strange alien metal back, but like, what am I going to do with it then? I'm just gonna crush it.
Do you think there's they have a path forward for the next like the phase 5?
Well, we know about quantum computers. We know about strange alien metal. One of the things that you will actually see as I am doing this is that the particle accelerator has an input for for fluids or gases that is just not used for any recipe or alternate recipe right now. Period. So, like, that is probably... the next steps are going to be probably a lot, and I mean a lot of nuclear... Wait a second, what is this? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh!
What?
I gotta make sure that I'm not about to lose the, I'm not about to lose power here, because apparently my plastic is not, it's probably because, like I said, I'm not actually using the fuel right, so the heavy oil residue is not actually getting drained out enough.
Okay.
Same thing with the cooling systems. Okay, this might be something of a problem, actually.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Do you have a programmatic way to kind of get out of, like, this kind of like, where there's an overflow situation? Like, you've got smart splitters and stuff. You've got...
Yes, I do. I actually do have... If I wanted to, what I could do is I could transform all the extra heavy oil residue, you know, like stick a valve at the end there, so that it only gets overflow, turn it into the petroleum coke, and then that'll just use all of it.
Yeah. Okay.
I was hoping by now, though, that I would have the... Yeah, let's just set this one up right now. I was hoping by now... Well, actually, no, I need to start making some of the proper... Yeah, like the assembly director unit. Let's set this up right here instead. So that I can actually get a line for this. And then next one will be the super ultimate cubes. There we go. I'm going to end up making plutonium at the other end of the factory, since I'm considering that more or less a material, and that's where I'm building all of that.
Now, how much does your breadboard matter at this point?
A lot.
Like,
it still is the way that I'm going to be setting up everything right now.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually... That's why I was asking. I was wondering...
Ultimately,
like,
as I start to, like, cap out... also, I want to go over here to show this off. Yep, we hit the edge, by the way.
Wow.
So, I have some space left. I hope that's going to be sufficient for Phase 5.
Well, if not, you could kind of do the thing, you know, you've been in like a high school racetrack or something. You start to bend it. Like, you just bend all the color lines to the left or right.
The problem, though, is if I bend it, if I go, like, you know, a high enough angle, what's going to happen is that it's just going to go right back in on itself and kind of ruin the entire thing.
Well, I think it should double back. It should turn, should make a 180, like a hairpin turn, and start going the other direction on the left side.
Yeah, but the problem is that I'm supposed to be able to build out that direction to get, like, more lines of machinery. If I bend it over, then it's just going to be, like, crashing into each other. Like, you can see that up here. That was originally the batteries. Now that's the cooling system, because I chose to make batteries in the traditional style instead.
Well, you just have to make a really sharp turn. Maybe I'm just not picturing what you're seeing. I don't know. It's kind of a stupid suggestion.
Supposed to be, just... Like, okay, do you see over there? That's like all the quick wire.
Yeah.
Do you see how it's going way out? If this stuff turns, it makes a hairpin turn. It's gonna just run right into that. Let me get closer so you can actually see it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, by the way, one thing here. Do I have... I want to go grab a couple radio control units just because, in case you're wondering just how powerful these final cubes are. Trying to create them myself, 60.
Wow.
These are ones you want to create by machine. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty absurd.
It's not worth it.
Is anything else like that in the game? Is anything close to that other than maybe the other lower level cubes?
Like what? Like supercomputer or something is 24. Nah. Radio control unit 24. Not even close to 60. Not even half.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, do want to set that up and do want to go get the supply routes in there ASAP.
By the way, you may have explained this, but it really is just like a breadboard and stuff. There's no like, and it's all moving kind of in one direction from like the beginning of your factory.
Depending on alternate recipes, they might be moving in opposite directions, or you know, other weird stuff that comes up because of that. But for the most part, because you know, recipes don't use items until you have them unlocked, right? It's like
Yeah.
it tends to be moving in one direction.
Okay. And are you...
But yeah, like see this? This is quick wire, baby.
Yeah, see, I'm saying, like, don't go to that side when you do the hairpin turn. Go to the whole other direction towards the lake.
But it's like
On that
just
side.
go off the map in the other direction. Like, 'cause I'm gonna go over here.
I don't know the map well enough to say. I'm kind of...
Okay.
I don't know.
Where I'm right here on the map, the map stops at about here. So if I turn around, I'm gonna be going in here.
I'm saying go towards where the map stops and then take a left before it stops. That's what I was
That
thinking,
will be
something
turning
like that.
back around on this.
Oh, okay. Okay, well then, never mind.
It's a big line.
Uh-huh.
It's not only a production line, it's also a large line. Let's go make sure that I have batteries working for me.
By the way, have you ever zoomed out to show the whole factory? Just,
Oh, we can actually
Just
do that if I
curious.
went over to the plateau there.
okay.
But, like, you know, also there is just getting up real high, and then you can kind of see this. But, like, yeah, over by the plateau, where I have the plateau radio tower, is pretty much... That's, like, the best look that you get at the factory.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, maybe...
It's
Like,
honestly not
keep-
that interesting looking. Aside from
Yeah.
how large it is.
I like the color scheme makes it a little bit more interesting.
The color scheme is literally there for functionality and nothing else.
I know, but it has aesthetic qualities to it. I mean,
No, it doesn't. I refuse to believe that.
you don't believe that... Do you believe that breadboards have any aesthetic quality? Like
No,
or circuit
they are
boards?
completely
Okay.
artless like video games.
Well, video games... Well, okay, so maybe it can never be high art, but can you accept that it's at least low art?
No.
Okay.
And
By the
more
way,
questions.
I reread that Ebert column, and I was like, I kind of see where he's coming from, but it's like, he clearly had not played, like, Omicron, like, any
Right,
actual
exactly.
game.
I mean, he never played Persona 5.
Oh, he never played Persona 5, he never played, 13 Sentinels, so,
All
I
of
don't know.
these classic video games. I'm going to take the heat fuse frame and see if I can't get that working. I think it's interesting. The fertile uranium, though, is probably going to be the other one. And it looks like I'm not going to have enough. I'm not quite sure, but unless I only have 2 more recipes to get past this point, I don't think I have quite enough hard drives to completely finish it off. But it's very close. Okay, you got to start producing, like, plastic now, my dude. And it's not that big of a deal. Look, I'm making a lot of this stuff at all points in time. It'll be fine. That's the whole thing where it's just like it requires so very many refineries.
That's what I call refineries.
That's what I call refineries volume 27.
Do people get that joke still?
I've unfortunately talked about this multiple times already.
Okay, fair enough.
So
Right,
you're going to have to like confront the fact that look, yes, people are going to get it around here because I keep talking about it.
Okay, fair enough. We create our own worlds. But
Look, reality is what you make of it, right? Yeah, but as you can
Unless
see,
you
there's a
make-
good reason why I had to up the production on like Rubber a lot.
we make our own realities. Except for that, that's not a.
No, I make the reality. We don't make our own realities. I make reality. I thought that was clear.
Oh, okay. Well, it's funny because you were like looking at that that conveyor belt. Then that was an abomination under the Lord.
Look, it's gonna get a lot more once I get the last little bits of inefficiency were wringed out of it like a wet rag.
Well, that's what the Romans said, and
yeah, they use that metaphor too.
They kept saying, "Oh, we just need to fight the threat on our border," and then they kept growing, and then they kept growing, and then they're like, "Well, now we got to be more efficient," and then they kept growing and becoming more efficient, and then in the end, they were one of the most efficient countries ever.
What is the moral of this story?
It worked out for everyone. The end.
I don't understand what this has to do with anything. So you're telling me that yes, my messy factory is a mark of genius. I thank you. I know.
Yeah. You know, I always had like a messy desk and like, backpack and everything. And sometimes teachers, like, to cheer me up would be like, well, they say that just means you have a really active mind. You got a cluttered mind. And
And you
I
certainly
always
do
like
not.
and I was like, yeah, but I feel like I'd be better off if I had a clean one. I don't know. If I wasn't so disorganized, it'd be a little bit better for me.
Would it though?
I don't know.
Think about it now.
We'll
you're on
never.
on the Dr. Inferno Firebird's channel.
That's right.
Watching him play Satisfactory.
This is my creative peak. So yeah.
This is like not only your creative peak; it's your peak, the peak of your entire life.
Well, yeah. So it worked
That's
out
why
for
I told
everyone.
you can't stop doing this series.
Just like the Romans.
You pathetic sad sack. You can't stop doing this series, and please don't.
Okay, well, maybe I won't then. Maybe I'll keep doing this. Maybe
That's what I want.
Maybe I'll do season 3 when they come out with the next patch.
We're not doing another factory.
Oh, you're not. Okay.
This is factory version final.
Okay.
We're gonna do some improvements on it, but we're not doing another one past this point.
Like we might return to the factory, but it's not going to be like for a full season or anything. Yeah.
No, it's not going to be a soft reboot of the factory. Where it is going to be a continuation of the existing storyline.
Well, we need to find another awful game to play.
Okay, well, we're still doing Hitman 3. Okay, don't say that. I like Hitman.
Oh,
3.
okay. Yeah, I like this game too.
I like this game a lot. I think that's clear.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much more that I need to say on that point. But okay, yeah, here we go. And there's the entire factory, baby. Let's put away the gun so it doesn't look like I'm trying to shoot it.
Yeah. Okay.
I told you it's not that impressive.
Yeah, it just looks like small from back here.
It is small compared to the entire world, but at the same time, it does span the entirety of, what is it? About like here all the way down to here on the map.
I don't think that's small in comparison to it's a line is really the only thing. It's just...
That's the point. That's what makes it an effective factory.
No, it's a line, not a point.
It's got 2 points. And that's to produce things and also to be a factory. I mean, I don't think I actually ever activated the plateau cool thingy.
The mesa.
Yes. No, I called it the plateau. I guess it is more of a mesa, isn't it? Let's at least see what's up here. I mean, I know what's up here, nothing, but let's at least activate it to see if there's like anything that I missed, like hard drives or whatever.
Isn't there a bauxite node up here?
Nope, there's nothing. There are bauxite nodes elsewhere when it comes to very high. Thanks for the autosave, by the way. It makes it very easy to see how the other character's head does not appear in the shadow. Okay, I thought I was gonna crash there for a second. Jesus.
Yeah, that was on.
Yeah, that's the power of the factory, baby.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I know what's up here. There's like a crashed ship, and that's it. You can see it right.
By the way, does your jetpack automatically go between the 2 types of power when you're when you're near your power lines? It uses those.
No, I just switch over to a different, a completely different piece of equipment. Did you not see me put that away into a?
I did see that, and I wasn't sure if
No, it does not automatically switch. It's there's a hover pack and there's a jetpack. They're 2 different things, and they serve different purposes.
Okay.
But yeah, large areas do generally have like bauxite nodes, the bamboo forest, for example, but not this area. This area just has nothing on the top here.
Yeah,
but a bucket and a mop and an illustrated book about birds.
You're clearing out the entire biomass of this place.
Good.
Just by clearing this brush.
Oh, there is actually there's a hard drive around here against all odds. Where?
Wow.
But yeah, you can see also that the atoll is mostly a lot of oil, and these are like down on the ground there. But yeah, the only thing that's really even close to up here is the nitrogen gas, which I'm already using.
Is this a toll road?
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I wonder where that last hard drive is. Probably somewhere in here, near the atoll.
And
instead.
I'm assuming like you can't go north without like dying.
Nope.
Like,
Same
yeah,
thing
yeah,
will
that's
happen than when I try
the-
to walk off the edge of my factory.
Okay, maybe there's a boulder you've got to dynamite to get a hard drive or something.
I
Does that
actually never
happen?
did that in the game. Nothing requires dynamite.
Wow.
You know, there are also some other places where there is like actual land, but you still can't go over there without dying. Here, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you try to go over here far enough. Like, the farthest you can go is this place where there's a crashed ship. But if you try to go over here, you die.
Yeah, well, that's probably why that ship crashed.
It's probably why that ship crashed. They landed in the death area.
Yeah, the Bermuda Triangle.
We already talked about the Bermuda. You know, when I was editing that episode, that bit about the Bermuda Triangle, for some reason I kept getting cut off in the audio.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
For something
Oh,
that's
you're
entirely
trying
made up.
Yeah.
to try and convince you that there's some sort of paranormal thing so they can sell you books.
Yeah, I always wonder about that, like that as a motive for conspiracy theories. It's like, yeah, and then they're gonna sell that back to you. And it's like, well, how much is that worth? Like, is it worth?
Yeah, people
like,
keep doing it.
I mean, is it really worth selling an entire conspiracy to sell books about it? Like where's the
evidently? Like, why else would people do it? I
is
don't
the
know.
Loch Ness industry is that worth $1 billion a year?
Probably.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Is that the foundation
Hey, look,
for
it's the
Scotland's
tiny
economy?
little oil production that I got over here. I should go switch that over to actually like go start packaging this stuff up to instead.
Oil.
Oil in them there hills. Apparently, it also stopped working, probably because the containers filled up. Let me take a look. Yep. Well, that's exactly what happened. Too much rubber. Anyway, yeah, I should start hauling like that. I mean, pretty much. Okay, so here's the plan from here. I'm gonna try and I'm gonna get like all the new machines installed and working. I am going to then work on getting everything else more efficient, and then pretty much it's just going to be expanding it and grabbing new resources as required.
Okay.
Because as of now, I have like pretty much all the alternate recipes, so I'm not going to be altering the setup of the factory too much.
Mm-hmm. You're just gonna you have the one production layer to build out for the plutonium and stuff and the particle acceleration.
Now, dang it, I don't have enough to get everything because I also got turbo pressure motor here too.
Well, is it good? I mean, which of these are
is
good?
it? I don't know. I have to actually go create like an entire extra line for creating fluid containers, and then those are actually used. I can't just keep recycling those like normal. It's probably more. I mean, you know, alternate recipes are pretty much always more effective, so it's probably worth doing.
Is it better than the other two?
Okay, so turbo motor right now, it's like actually is using the base recipe where it uses like the motor or the cooling unit, etc. and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like this one. Okay. This one produces a little bit. Produces almost 4 per minute. Pressure conversion cube uses 2 of the radio control units, much like the original recipe, but this works almost twice as good. Still uses 4 motors, almost twice as good. Stators. I guess you use like stators and packaged nitrogen gas instead of rubber and cooling units. Is that good? Probably. The only really hard thing to get, all things considered, is the cubes. You need the heavy modular frames to create the super cube. And then you need the super cube to create the super duper cube, which is the pressure conversion cube. Here.
Don't you have like that alternate recipe for the pressure conversion cube, or did you skip that?
No, there is no alternate recipe for the pressure conversion cube. I have it for the super cube.
I see.
I mean, first off, I am going to actually use this one, but the other one, I don't know. I mean, I also still have one more more hard drive here. So if I do decide to go that route, yeah, what was I looking at here? Okay, so yeah, I did just get that other recipe for the, not the pressure conversion cube, the fused modular frame.
Well, and
so
if
it's
you can
like,
find that final hard drive.
Yeah, it already only uses 1-for-1, so this doesn't actually, the alternate version doesn't actually use it really any different. I think it's just more efficient on aluminum casings, maybe?
I mean, it's the second one is better because of the fuel that you already have in great abundance. I don't know
I'm
if
already
it's
creating a lot of
worth it.
fuel, but I'm also using that fuel for other stuff.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
What do I need for nitrogen gas specifically? And it doesn't create it like super fast or anything. I don't know. This is an
Also,
incredibly boring part of this episode, isn't it?
Yeah, you're using the fuel to create more fuel with your fuel to fuel.
No. I'm
generator.
using the oil to create the fuel, and then I'm using the fuel to create more rubber and plastic because that's how it works.
Use the lime to create the coconut.
Yeah, if actually it's more like if I just use like rum, and then I use that rum to just continuously create more limes and coconuts at the same time.
This is such a silly setup.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, I'm just gonna pour this bottle of what's a brand of rum? What's the one that comes in like the white bottle?
You think like the Jamaican rum? I know what
No,
you're talking about.
not.
I think.
Is that Jamaican rum?
I don't know.
Quickly, internet, tell me. Getting a lot of interference on your end here. Man, I love that even after I thought we had entirely worked out the issues with Captain Morgan. Captain Morgan is the type that I was thinking of, I think.
Oh, okay.
Is it the one that comes in the white bottle? Like, you know what? Whatever. Look, here's the thing. We have reached yet another point, much like the previous episode with the nitrogen gas, where I'm just going to be doing a lot of stuff to set up the next part.
Uh-huh.
So I think what we're going to do is we're going to come back in and, yeah, pretty much for either the next episode, we're going to get like an I think what we're going to do is we'll finish up the main game and then one more episode for finishing up like everything. Finishing up the post game, as it were.
Yeah. Got a great post game.
There's no real post game in this. The post is because the main game isn't even done just yet.
Oh, I was just talking about like the basketball term having post game. Never mind.
Well, post game does have an actual thing in video games, like where there's a normal ending, you beat the final boss and you get the credits. Then there's usually also like content that comes after that. Come on, you would know this if you watched the Neverland episode of Resonance of Fate, like I told you to.
Would you consider an ultimate ending to be a part of the post game, or do you consider that?
No, I would consider that an ending too.
Okay.
Post game is like optional. Like the explicit thing is optional.
Yeah. Okay.
That's kind of where it goes, because if it is required for an ending, I feel like that's just an alternate ending. Like true final ending is just an alternate ending.
Yeah.
Especially depending on what sort of game you're playing. It's like some of them can be finished in 5 seconds by turning around and going out the door, for example.
Yeah. I mean,
jumping out the window or something, and it's just like, and you survived. Congratulations.
Like, let me put it this way. I would say a fishing minigame that you're required to complete to get the ending, that's part of the true game. But getting all the fish, that's
well, especially, I mean, more specifically, there is only fish that you can get after you would already have conceivably beat the entire game.
Yeah, because you like purified the waters or something.
Yeah, something like that. It happens. There's myriad ways that post games end up coming around.
You brought the sun back, and the fish are willing to swim at the surface.
Okay, but seriously, we are done with this episode.
Oh, okay.